Hey everyone, Chuck's back. Just doing a bit of testing. So I'm over here. Probably could have done my propping a bit better today. So I've got my second inverter in. Haven't got it hooked up yet. I've got a couple of things I've got to do. I think that's in another video, probably over here somewhere. So I'm checking the input voltage. There is nothing. Oh well, both input voltages are dead. Now remember, I did get these panels second hand, and I've got a sneaking suspicion there's a fault up there somewhere. Now I'm going to get on the roof. I've made it so the adapter leads to go onto the WS400. There is another model. There's a 600 for people that are using the bigger panels, so you're better off getting 600 than the 400. Don't even bother getting the 400, get a 600. All right. As I said before, I've done a really good job, and that's my little problem too, because it's really a good job. So we'll get into it and we'll test one. Okay guys, I've been testing the roof solar panels with my WS400, and they look okay. I've got up to the roof up in the corner over there, and I've got the right amount of volts coming in, but the other line doesn't have the right amount of volts, so I'm going to have to sort that out. So yeah, might get me lucky friend in to do a bit of work. I've got a fault from coming down. I use brand new cable, but I've got a fault. There's an open circuit on my negative side of my rail from between that point over there and here. Well, not, yeah, negative. The negative is playing up. So it's got the power at this terminal, but not along the line. Now, maybe it could be the connector, so I might have to cut the connector off and see if I'm reading anything. But other than that, could be anything. But we'll check it. So simple fault finding on your solar system is the best way to go. If you've got a fault in your solar system, try and half the problem. Half it by running an extra extension lead to your multimeter and see where the problem and the... Okay, I'm going to explain my fault finding pretty quick because it's raining on the panels. So that panel there, it's a cracked panel. Not going to use it. The one underneath it is dead. The reason I found that was I ran a short lead from the far end all the way back. I'd actually tested all these with the WS400, and they were showing up good. Now the problem was it had high resistance when it got too much voltage on it, so it wasn't going to show up with a WS400. You weren't going to pick it up. So I dragged up another solar panel after I found that when I got past this panel here, I lost everything. Going the other way, same thing. So I just ran a cable from the far one that before it connects down into the roof, hoping for the best. I knew this one was good because I checked it the other day, I ran a cable straight down inside to check it, so I knew this side was good. Wasn't sure about the far end, but once I did a check with me cable, it came up good. Now I got this panel, I think you might remember it from the original panels on this side. It got cracked on the way, but saying that, it still works. It's been working the whole time. It's cracked to the shit house. If I get up there and show you, which is raining pretty bad, you'll be able to see that it's cracked. It's really cracked there, and the rain is starting to get me, so I'm going to get down and show you the internal stuff now. So I just popped that on top to replace it. The wind's going to pick up, and I don't like this idea of putting that panel up here at the moment. Didn't expect it to be doing this, but the weather's weird over here at the moment, and we'll have a look inside. She's coming down cats and dogs, so I better get into it and show you what I found. Okay guys, I've got the air conditioner down here. I've had it for a while actually. I fixed it, so that's not what we're covering here. What we're covering here is fault finding your solar panels. Now these things here, right, where we've got our power on. If we switch on down here, we've got the power on. Okay, this one's on. Now, if it's under a load, never turn them off. Never turn them off if they've got a load. Safety sakes, if you turn that off while it's got a load on it, it's going to burn that up. It's because it's going to arc out and you're going to have fire. So you need to turn off all loads beforehand, especially with solar. And that is the first thing that I want to cover in solar. Safety. These things, that might not burn up, but this will definitely burn up. This one here will definitely burn up if I switch that off now. And yeah, and don't forget you've got to have a solar arc arresters set up on them. And I've done that as well. Now, I'll explain what happened with my solar, because it's all over the shop. And you guys are probably going to tell me. Leave your comments below that this is absolute rubbish. I'm happy with that, because I thought to myself, I've got to put this out because, you know, it's really informative but not informative. First problem I had, okay, here was my input. I tested it, and up there the negative side rail wasn't bringing in a negative side. So it got to that point up there, but it didn't come all the way down here. And I have no idea why, because it was brand new cable. But I ran a new cable straight across. The first thing I did to find out that, I ran a dodgy cable over to there to check it and to just fault find with the positive side and see that I had my voltages here. But then I ran another cable down and ran it into the box. And then I had my bottom panels all back up again. So I had the full voltage on the bottom panel. So that only gave me 2.5 kilowatts overall. The top lot of solar panels, I had a fault there. It still wasn't working on that. I tried running the wires across. I had a long lead that ran across to the main connection where it came down into the building. And neither side would give me the voltage I required here. So then I got up on the roof, and because I had a cable, I bypassed each solar panel coming from this end going back. So if you've got 3 panels, you bypass the first 2 panels, or first 2 panels, check that panel. If it's still okay, and or it's not okay, you go back to the next panel and you see, oh my god, we've got a open circuit. So I found this open circuit using my lead coming forward, and so then I took up the old broken panel that still worked and put it in position. Now then I came down here and checked both my positive and negative, and I found that I had a voltage standing there, or voltage in the right spot. So then what I did was I removed that panel on the roof that got rid of the cracked panel, and then removed the other panel and replaced it with another 250 watt panel to finish the job off. that in turn I checked and it was fine, so then I connected that all back up again. Like I said, this one here wasn't the one, it's actually this one. I'm going to have to mark them. Solar roof, this side and that right side. Anyway, so we've isolated that, but I haven't turned on the system yet because I got myself a Snyder. So I was pretty happy with Snyder because part of my German family's Snyder and it's Schultz, so I was pretty happy with that. If anyone's out there and a Snyder or a Schultz, leave a comment below. I got 2 of these, which are the earth leakage protection. I bought those and they're both going to go in there. So I needed 2 of them because you need 2. But that's going to be another show and we're going to talk about that later. But that's what I need for the final bit to get it running. And I also got another thing going which I'm going to cover, which is on a previous show that I just did, and that is that I got my faulty JK BMS working again, but it wasn't the JK BMS, and I had an Andy fault. What it was for some unknown reason, and I torqued up all the battery connectors on here. I took this off, of course, and put that back down there. And if you see there, that's battery 7, the far bolt, and it was loosened off, and I don't know why it loosened off because, and you can see it still looks a bit loose. There you can see it's not properly in, it's not properly holding. And I don't know why. Maybe I might have to take it off and get a spring washer, but I'm going to have to disconnect everything to do that because there's a lot of amps cutting through there and I really don't want to be playing with it. But once I replace that, and the people on Alibaba, not Hacksaw, sent me an extra cable which I could run up to here. Now I've got a cable that runs up to here. I'm going to put some switches in later and one for that, so I don't need to put it in the back of my unit like you've seen before. I've got it right here, I can check it out and I'm pretty happy with that. So that is going well. It's a bit warm in here. I'm going to turn this back on and that's it for this show.